Brian Mast, Florida Congressman and Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, welcome back to National Report. Could you speak to the importance, if you will, of actually taking a closer look at some of these spending cuts? Do you believe that those will come to fruition?
Yeah, I think the ones that you were just discussing, the NPR, these communications programs, public broadcasting, that's about $1 billion right there, rounding that number. It's important. Number one, with all of these rescissions, with all of these cuts, have it under the umbrella of should the American people have to borrow $1 to do it? Because remember, everything you're doing, you're borrowing $1 in order to go out there and do it. And then you look at, I'm very proud of this because most of these are coming from the Foreign Affairs and the State Department appropriations of the roughly $10 billion that we're talking about here. About $9 billion of it comes from our area of jurisdiction. And you're talking about LGBTQ programs on every continent, in Mexico, in Uganda, in the Caribbean, in Europe, in the Balkans, and all these other places that we're getting rid of. You're talking about programs that are related to PEPFAR. PEPFAR is a great program that's done a lot of life-saving, but there's parts of PEPFAR that don't do life-saving, they do lifestyle choices. And should we be paying for people's lifestyle choices, whether they're going to use a condom or not? I don't think that we should be paying for those, those kind of decisions for people. So there's a lot of really good rescissions in there that DOJ was pulling out of spending and that now we're codifying into law.
Still have a couple Republican holdouts here think that the spending is a bit too high. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is a supporter of the rescissions package, but he says one of the handful of the Republicans there that believes that the spending cuts don't go far enough. Here's an exchange with Margaret Brennan on CBS over the weekend. Watch this.
We know now that the White House is going to ask Congress this week for some rescissions. Sounds like it's just $9.4 billion, and it's PBS, it's NPR, and it's foreign aid. Is this really the best strategy, and do you think 51 Republican senators are on board with it?
First of all, I will vote for spending cuts. The more, the better. This is very, very small. To put it in perspective, if the deficit this year is $2.2 trillion, if you cut $9 billion, the deficit's going to be $2.191 trillion. It really doesn't materially change the course of the country.
Congressman, you also have Elon Musk worried about the interest rates going up as well, or paying more interest over time. I want to get your thoughts on both the senator's remarks and Elon Musk as well.
Yeah, let me start with the senator's remarks. Look, I agree. I want to see more cuts. I hope that the Senate in total finds $2 trillion in cuts out there. I have my doubts as to whether they can get 51 people in the Senate to agree to $2 trillion in cuts, but I hope that they do it. As I said about these rescissions that we're talking about right now, the roughly $10 billion, that largely comes from one area and one area alone. That's the State Department primarily, my area of jurisdiction. I want to see those levels and higher cuts coming from every area of government. We're just talking about one lane of government largely right now, the State Department. And then as we talk about, what Elon Musk was saying about this bill and saying looking for more cuts, looking for a reduction in spending. Again, I want to see that. You're not going to find for me an amount of cuts that are too great because remember, in the end, all of the spending comes out of the pocket of the American people, and what doesn't come out of the pocket of an individual is borrowed and then layered on them as debt that they have to repay later. So we need to get rid of all of it, but they need to have 51 people in the Senate to do it.
Sure. And by the way, thank goodness for DOJ and the transparency, because we're actually learning, about some of where this money is going. To your point, Congressman, it's really important that's clear to the American public. We'll watch and see what the Senate does. Congressman Brian Mast, thanks so much for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it. Take care.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.